Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I would like to share with you more information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last BQH hypnosis session. I'll be reading from a transcript of the session, and when I refer to Lorrayne, I'm referring to my practitioner who's asking me questions I prepared in advance of the session. And when I refer to me, I'm referring to myself under hypnosis, which means that the answers are coming from 25th dimension. Before I jump in, I want to thank you as always for subscribing to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and for liking and commenting on this video. I love so much reading your comments, even if you're just stopping by to say hi, it's all good. All right, I'm gonna start reading here. Lorrayne. Most people on this planet have moved on and will never consciously be aware of what has transpired here in the way that we will on New Earth. Only us on New Earth will have to integrate this knowledge at a conscious level. Is it important and beneficial for the multiverse for this knowledge to be integrated consciously within the matrix? Or is it simply going to happen because we will happen to be on a planet where there is no veil? In other words, would it have been just the same had every one of us on this planet moved on to 3D chambers or with the aliens and not had to consciously integrate this darkness? And the reason I'm asking this question is because this is going to be the most challenging thing that we have to deal with, is integrating the darkness, which means actually knowing everything that's transpired on this planet. Already those of us who have been into the, or still are in the intel community kind of information, and again, there is no judgment, no, we think we know so much, and the 25th keeps telling us that we know less than 1% of what's transpired here, and that's why we want to keep the shell in place, because we are desperate to not know any more than we already do. So this question has been on my mind. So here's the answer from the 25th. Yes and no. So yes, it would have been the same in the sense that it would have been perfectly acceptable had we not decided to introduce a new game board called New Earth into the matrix. It would have been perfectly acceptable to continue playing the game the way we have, which means we forget previous existences when we focus on a new existence, a new embodied incarnation. It doesn't have to be embodied, but a new, what we think of as a new lifetime. It would be perfectly fine. We could have all gone to 3D chambers. We could have all gone to hang out with the aliens. It would have been perfectly fine. We could have all just stayed aware of what we're aware of now, or forgotten everything and moved on. This is what happened with the previous takedowns, for example. We already said everybody moved to the same place and they experienced that as death. But then, of course, they found themselves in a new place and they just kept going, no problem. They didn't have to have the consciousness or the awareness we will have on New Earth. So is it necessary to do it this way, where we have to consciously know what's happened? No. It's happening simply because we decided to change the game, and then we are going to have one planet that within the entire multiverse, which is huge by our standards, which is a huge place by our standards, where we're going to have no veil. So in that sense, I mean, in a way, if you want to be facetious about it, we'll say it sucks. And then we're laughing. It sucks that it's us. So we're going to have to deal with this, because really, we didn't need to. If we had made different choices, we wouldn't be dealing with it. As you know, even right now, many people have not wanted to go to New Earth. So it's fine. But for us, yes. So basically, underlying this question is it worthwhile? Will it make a difference then that we have New Earth and we do integrate at a conscious level? And in this sense, yes, it will make a difference. We have already said that while many will visit us and everybody will be aware of New Earth, but while many will visit us and say, that's very cool, but yeah, it's a New Earth thing. This would never work for us. This is not how we work. You know, time is real, food is real, and all the things. At the same time, it's just what we do. Like what we do now. We speak with each other. We trigger things for each other. And we'll do the same thing. Once we have this conscious awareness of New Earth and we speak with people who are ready to allow this consciousness to percolate in, this awareness to percolate at a conscious level, we will be the trigger of many of what you refer to as awakenings. So yes, there is a benefit to it, and not a need as in, again, there's no need for anything. This is just a game, but there is benefit. And we decided that the benefit is totally worth it. We're all very, very excited about New Earth, not just us going there. We already said the entire multiverse, every essence has had to agree to change the rules to now allow this information to be had at a conscious level, a matrix level. So now Consider there's only a handful of us that have this information at a conscious level. And in terms of how big the multiverse is, once we're on new Earth, there's going to be millions of us who will have this consciousness at conscious level. And so the rumors will spread. We're laughing. People will come into contact with us and with this, and they might chalk it up and say, that's a different way they have to see the world. They don't have to believe it. They can stay within the game, just like many in the New Age spirituality community. We know this. They're saying, oh, we already knew this. It's the same thing. Then you realize it isn't. It's completely different. You're coming from a completely different direction, even though it sounds like it's the same thing. Oh, I've heard this before. This is fine. Claire laughs every time she hears that because she understands. It's totally fine. She doesn't judge, people who say these things. She finds it very entertaining because she also believed these things up until a year ago, about a year or a year and a half ago now. So it's all for fun. We do whatever we want to do, right? But yes, so in this sense, it is beneficial to have this information at a conscious level. But no, we could have absolutely moved on without remembering this. So in that sense, which is what Claire was thinking when she wrote this question, is it sucks for us. We're the only ones who have to deal with this at a conscious level. We're the only ones who are going to have to do this hard work. And yes, that's exactly right. Nobody else within the matrix is going to have to do this work. And not only in the future, for people that come to New Earth, they haven't lived here. And so they don't have to move on. They don't have to go through a transition period of accepting what we have done here, of knowing what's happened here, and using the judgment we have now, which we will be completely appalled if we knew. We don't even know a fraction. We know a tiny fraction of what's happened here. This is going to be tough. We said it many times. So yes, we are the only ones who are going to go through this, because nobody else who hasn't lived here or is not going to New Earth is going to have to do this work. However, the reason we are doing this is not only because we know we're all going to be able to do it, of course, even at a human level, but also because of this acceptance. This is how quickly we're going to recalibrate and be able to be the new Earthians. We're laughing with a level of awareness that we want to bring within the matrix. So it all makes sense. This is why we chose to do this. Lorrayne, thank you. Okay, this is a question from Glory to God. Is the angel of death real? And this is an add-on from Claire. Death is not real, and the idea sounds scary, so I assume it's a dark matrix belief. It also sounds like it's a similar situation to when people say they're seeing dragons. However, since angels are real, is this even a thing? And what I mean by it's similar to when people say they're seeing dragons is that there's a bit of people just making it up and lying to feel special, or they want to see certain things and they're all happy that they can see things, or they believe they're seeing things that other people cannot see. Which is fine. There's no judgment. These are the games we play. So that's where we're trying to figure out, is this even a thing that people see, or what the story is? Me. So angels are real. Death is not real. There is no angel of death. And yes, people who say they've experienced this or seen this, they're wanting to scare people, or we already talked about it. They feel special, like they're seeing things that other people are not seeing. We've talked about all of this that goes into what's behind spreading certain types of information. There's absolutely no judgment. We want to remind you of this because we're all playing a game. At the same time, no. Is the angel of death real? No. Death is not real. There will be no angel of death. Angel of death. What does it make you think of? It makes you think of, there is this angel that decides this is your time, and then you go. We already know that's not how it works. You decide you're done here, and then you go. And not only you go, and you might even leave your NPC behind. Nobody's telling you. Nobody can tell you what to do. You're perfectly free to play it however you want through the very end. So what's the angel of death then? What situation are we having here? That now this angel is coming, telling you not only it's your time, but this is how you got to do it. Now you got to die. You don't have to die. You can leave your NPC behind and be gone. And then you may decide in 10 years, you're coming back and checking in. So what is that? We're laughing. What is death? Are we talking about the body stuff? As an essence that has decided to move on, you decide how the body goes. It's not somebody else that comes like an angel and decides that it's your body's time to go or how it needs to go. So we've also said in regards to angels, angels are real. However, different planets believe in different angels. We call in different angels to help us. So we always think, for example, We have hierarchies for everything, of course. And so we always think, there are archangels who are more important than the angels and sub-angels, and they were laughing, the seraphims or whatever. There's a whole hierarchy, which is very beautiful and very interesting. Nothing wrong with that. That's not really how it works in real life, but nothing wrong with how we made up stuff here. I mean, some things are entertaining and are inspiring to us, so that's perfectly fine. But so on other planets, so we think, for example, Archangel Michael is the archangel, sits, I don't know, does he sit on the right hand of God? They were laughing. I don't know. However that works. But on other planets, they don't think that. On other planets, might be Angel XYZ, who is that important and controls all other archangels, other angels, or whatever it is. So now we talk about the angel of death, as in it's like source. It's what it is. It's true for everybody. It doesn't matter how you call him. It doesn't work that way. So no, there is no angel of death in the sense of what he's asking about, which is there is this angel of death and this is what he does. And when he does this, this is what happens. So no, that's not true. We wanted to add one more thing because he sent Clea some videos to watch. And so it was referring to animals, for example. It says that there was a lion that passed. How do we know that the lion passed? First of all, we cannot trust anything we see on the internet or on television. We already know this. But secondly, what if it's the essence that wanted to experience passing in a certain way? We already said, if you believe in something, you will experience that. You can experience that. It's your choice. So if you believe in the angel of death, and this is how death is going to look like, there's going to be this angel showing up, it's my time, then that's exactly how you're going to experience that. So in that sense, it is true. It's true for you. But it's still an idea. It's not something that has to be true for everybody. Lorrayne. So there was a person who brought this question to me, and I don't know if she wants her name said because this was something that happened to her daughter. So I'm just going to call her Vanessa. Vanessa says, a week ago, my daughter came to me crying, confused and frightened. I thought she had a bad dream, but she said it was more like a memory. She was reliving a very bad experience. It was a military lab. She was in a different body and much younger than she is now. She said she tried to stop it, but it continued even though she had her eyes open. She told me a lot of details. There is no way it was a dream. I think it was a past life review. It was so horrible. She was throwing up after that, broke down, couldn't eat for days. I tried to be calm and took care of her, but when she wasn't looking, I cried every time I thought about it for days. I was so angry with our higher self. I thought we shouldn't know about the stuff while here. But her higher self decided to show it to her now. We both have been sick for a week now. I couldn't understand how we started having cold symptoms like sore throat and coughing until Clea said in her voice message about the energy clearing. These are the voice messages I leave in the Telegram group every once in a while. Then it made sense for me. Believe it or not, I watched the documentary Suddenly Died that David provided a link for, and David is another person in our group, to distract myself. At least it was about adults who voluntarily took the same. Because I was dealing with children, I just want to take down this reality. Whether a game or not, it's just wrong. Everything here is wrong. And I have to say, I fully understand the distress, especially when it's happening to your kid. Me. Yes, so the first thing we will say is that we understand her and her daughter's the stress of the situation. Her daughter is doing life review. But really, we already said it's also about learning what has happened on this planet. What is happening? Well, what was happening is no longer happening. These things are no longer happening already. We've already said, and in fact, we speak to you, Lorrayne, now, because you've often asked us, you have often said that you are ready to know certain things. And we have said many times, none of us are ready to know everything that's happening here. And this is just one example, just like it's happened to Clea before. She's being shown certain things, and she had a very strong emotional reaction to them. And this is exactly what's happened in this case. She's had a dream that showed her what has happened here. Now, we will remind you, when we say it's a past life review, does not mean that you experienced all these things, or that you experienced something exactly the way you think, or the way you're seeing it in a dream. So it's not necessarily a memory. We already said there are no past lives, and we don't have a linear path behind us. So she might also be picking up, which we are telling you this, she's also picking up on things that have happened here. And now, because we are one, we feel it as if it's happened to us. This is what we discussed when we talked about Clea's dream, where she became a reptilian, where she saw her arm turn into the arm of a reptilian, which she had a very strong reaction to this. And even now, as we're talking about, she's having a strong reaction to it. And this is how hard it is for us to have the feelings of what happened, to actually be in something. And I have to tell you, as I'm reading this, I remember it, and it's still freaking me out. So I understand how vivid these things can be and how much resistance we put up. And that's just my 2 cents here. All right. In dream state, we feel everything because we are experiencing things at the higher self level. So this girl is experiencing what's happened here to children like her, which again does not mean that she necessarily went through this exact same experience, but it doesn't matter, because if one person did, then we all did. We are all going to become aware of the same information she's become aware of, and we're all going to have to deal with that. We're all going to feel exactly what she's feeling now. We're all going to feel exactly what she went through. Some of us may have left this kind of information to be integrated later when we're on New Earth, but we're still going to have to go through it. We're still going to feel it. We're still going to be there, just like this girl was there. She was there in dream state. She was there, as her mommy said, when she opened her eyes. Of course, it's very vivid. It's very real. The stuff has happened, unfortunately, on this planet, and she's feeling it. And so now, why is this happening? We understand the mother is saying this is all wrong, what's happened to the children. This is exactly what we have said many, many times, how hard it is to accept, not only at 3D level, but even when we go to New Earth and when we are faced with the extent of what this has been. This is nothing. This is nothing compared to what's happened here. And so do you see the reaction? Do you see? We get a glimpse from this of what it means to be there, not to see it, not to know it, but to be there. You were the victim and you were the perpetrator. This girl has taken on the role of the victim in the dream. Clea couldn't even handle that when she had the dream about the... I can't say these things in a row. So the last word is abuse. She didn't even bring that information into the dream. She only saw herself becoming a reptilian. She couldn't even take what was down to the children. She could not take feeling the experience of the children. She could barely take feeling the experience of the reptilian. And so this girl, of course, her mother already knows this. She's an ascended master. She's doing mastery work. This is what we do. We do mastery work. And so we completely understand that the mother is very distraught. In 3D, we don't love anything more than our children. But at the same time, and Vanessa knows this, she must trust these things do not happen by chance, not only because of the experience her daughter is having. Now, Vanessa herself is integrating certain things, and she became very aware of the fact that she's coughing, sneezing, and clearing, because that's what she's doing. Because again, this is again proof of what we've been telling you, is that we at a physical level wouldn't even be able to handle this information. And this is why Tommy is coming up, because we're all clearing. As I'm reading this, we're all clearing this. This is again proof of what we've been telling you, is that we at a physical level wouldn't even be able to handle this information. Our bodies are always helping us clear, and we cannot physically handle certain emotions, which is the reason why we keep a lot of things built up and outside of our attention span, outside our focus. So the point here is that while it is very difficult work, this is very difficult work that we're all doing, that clearly her daughter is doing. It is also work that our higher self has decided to do. Now, we don't know how old this person is, Vanessa's daughter. She sounds like a younger person. We have already said that younger people don't generally have the same limiting beliefs that we have as adults, meaning the same belief that we have to maintain the structure, the matrix in a certain way, that we have to be judgmental in certain ways, etc., etc. So her daughter is already doing consciously this work of looking at past lives. We already said some people don't even want to remember their dreams, even when they don't know that they're about a present or past life. And that's perfectly fine. There's no judgment. It's not a race. But her daughter clearly not only is up for that, but she sees something that even Clea cannot wrap her mind around and didn't want to see in her dream, which is some of the experiments that I've been done on these children. And so her daughter is just ready. And I'm getting like... As I'm reading this, I'm getting something in my throat. I'm clearly not ready to do this work here. So I am just astounded that her daughter's doing this. Vanessa did tell me her daughter is 11. I believe that's what she said, that she's 11. And so it doesn't surprise me. These children are something else. All right. And I know that they will help a lot of us who are adults. So we experience ourselves as adults here, get over the stuff. So I am very grateful that some of us, these children are doing this work. And I can only imagine how hard it is for her mom to witness this work being done. And so her daughter is just ready. Well, it doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good from a 3D perspective. Her higher self, her daughter's higher self is ready. It's tackling it. And for this reason, when she goes to New Earth, we'll have to some extent, again, it's not going to be easy for anybody, but to some extent, she will have a much easier time than many of us when the veil falls and we are aware of everything that's happened, because she's having this time to integrate her emotions, integrate her knowledge. Basically, she right away went right to the point. She took on the role of victim and she said, this is how it feels. It was me. Because the truth is, it was her. But here's the thing, it was you too, Lorrayne, and it was Clea. It was all of us. If one person has lived through that, we all have. And we will become aware of this. And we're going to have to clear this. So her daughter's getting a jump start is what she's doing. And luckily her daughter, of course, her daughter is able to do that because she has a mother like Vanessa who's so consciously aware. So you see, we don't create our reality by chance. We set up all of this. We've aligned with all of this from the beginning. We knew who we were going to spend this lifetime with. We knew what we had to do to find ourselves in the position we are today. Her daughter has stayed behind to do this work. Her daughter is a master. And while this work is not pretty, we can take it. We just have to know that we can take it and we can. And of course, again, we understand that as a mother, if this was happening to Clea's daughter, Clea would be very distraught as well. But at the same time, it is a comfort to Clea. It would be a comfort to Clea. And we hope it is the case for Vanessa as well, to know that the reason her daughter is doing this is because she can do it. She wouldn't do it otherwise. The higher self is not trying to disrupt our lives. It's not trying to disrupt our experience. The higher self is doing exactly what it knows we can take. Her daughter didn't have to remember the dream. Clea had forgotten about her dream, about the ritual, and again, abuse on the children and the reptilian, becoming a reptilian, until she spoke with Carolyn later that day. And all of a sudden, it came to mind as they were talking about something else, which of course wasn't by chance. That's why Carolyn called her that day, even though Carolyn wasn't aware why she was calling her. But her daughter remembered right away. Do you see? That's how aware her daughter is. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found value in this information. And at the same time, you might be feeling like, man, we're going to have to go through a lot when we get to New Earth. I've asked the 25th many times about this, and they have told us, and I've shared some of this with you, and there will be more about this coming out as well, that we will love it on New Earth. This is just work that we have to do to get over things. It will be a little bit of a dark night of the soul in that sense, but it doesn't have to last a long time. It really will depend on our level of acceptance, how quickly we decide to accept the things that we will know about. And also considering that the vibration is going to be much higher on New Earth, this will be a lot easier for us. So we shouldn't judge from our 3D perspective how tough it would be here. A lot of our limiting beliefs will fall away and we'll have a completely different understanding of things. So I trust, I hope, I expect this will be what will happen. And so we'll go, based on that premise, because otherwise it's really hard to wrap, I know at least to wrap my mind around the fact that we're going to be able somehow to process all of this. It's already, again, we only know a fraction of what's happening here. It's already so hard. It's so challenging. So, but we will have help. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.